Hello, this is Sherry Ramirez, and today I have for you a brief tutorial. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. A brief tutorial on how to color lightly. I am a reformed heavy-hander, and as you can see, these are compression gloves. I have rheumatoid arthritis and my hands literally will blow up, like swell up. So that's why I never used to use pencils. But I learned how to color lightly, so now I use pencils, and I seldom use markers because pulling the lids open and closed and all that takes a toll on my hands after a while. It's a small thing, but when you add it up, like, say 20 times, it gets to be a bit much. So I have had several wonderful streamers show me how to color without such a heavy hand, and I'm going to pass on to you some of the things that I have learned. So, excuse me, I have a frog in my throat. I'm going to get a drink. Pardon me. Okay, so what I'm going to do here real quickly is I'm going to grab a Prisma pencil, because I'm using Prisma right now. I don't use Prisma that much, but occasionally I do. So I'm going to pick a color. Hopefully you guys can see. By the way, this sharpener is amazing. Sorry. I just got this a few days ago, and it is really awesome. Just throwing that out there. And for sharpening Prismas, you really have to be very, very careful. The leads will break and fall out very easily. They're not made as well as they used to be. And the leads here will just pop out and just fall out of the pencil. And you'll have to resharpen it. I don't know. I think it's a gluing issue. At any rate, first of all, so pardon the gloves. My hands are hurting and I just needed to put them on. So anyway, I used to hold my pencils like way down here. And so think about when you're holding your pencil like that, think about the muscles that it engages. Okay, it engages these muscles right in behind the pencil and around here. It engages all these muscles. Okay, so after a while, that's gonna take a toll on anybody's hands, and it also makes you color heavy. Actually, I think, hold on, I'm gonna pull out a for coloring hard, I'm going to pull out one of my Black Widows, because I don't like to color hard with these Prismas ever. They will break. So with the Black Widows, I can color hard, and it doesn't, they're pretty sturdy. I mean, I'm not saying to turn this into a tutorial for Black Widows or demo for Black Widows, but they are pretty sturdy and they don't break real easily. They're as far as I'm concerned, much better. Even though they're made in China, the guy that does them, the creator, whatever, is in Australia, and I think he keeps a pretty good quality control on things. So at any rate, I can press harder with these, so I'm gonna do that for this one. Now, this is how a lot of people have colored, grown up coloring, and you see I'm laying down. Hopefully you can see. I'm going to try to get in a little bit more. There. Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. Make sure you can see. I'm laying down color both ways. Like, I'm not just laying it down one way and then just bringing it back up and laying it down and, bringing it back up. I'm laying it down both ways. Now, you see, I wouldn't dare do this with my Prismas. Now, if you could see how doing that, whoops, there we go. how that looks. It looks pretty rough. Let's see if I can get in close so you can see. It's a little blurry, sorry about that. But anyway, don't do that. Even if you go one way and you're pushing, which, as I said, I would never do on my Prismas, you still end up with one pencil, one layer, and the tooth is already, and this is cardstock, which is, this is like 110 weight cardstock, which can take a lot. It's, I mean, I wouldn't put a whole ton of wet media on it, but I mean, for pencils, it can take a lot of layers. The tooth, as you can tell, is already, there we go, is already flattened out, okay? So what you need to do instead, there's two things. One, you can, and I'll bring out my well, hold on, I'm going to use my black widow, sorry. You can take your fingers and do this. When you're, say if you're going down, let me make sure you can still see. Okay, make sure, there, I want to make sure you can see that you're going down. Just use this finger, this bottom one, as like a placeholder. Okay, just let it rest on the pencil, rest on it. Use the top finger to push. You see, it's, while it's still a little bit, here, I'll scrunch you out like this. And this is just, this is the one is just resting. This one's doing all the work. The only thing this one is doing is it's bringing the pencil back to the top of the, you know, the swatch. That's the only purpose of this finger. When you're going this way, is to bring, this finger is to bring the pencil back up. That's it. This finger is doing all the work. The top one is doing all the work. So basically, I'm just coloring with the top finger. And then this finger brings it back up to the top. Now, the other thing you can do is to bring, oh, and like say if you're going back down, coloring down, then you would do that, you would kind of reverse it. You would use this and you would push with this. Well, hold on a second. Reverse that. You would push with this one and use this top one as a placeholder. And then this one would be used to bring it back down to the starting position. So just, you see that it's still kind of heavy, but it's not as heavy. Now, I'm going to break out my Prisma for this, since I'm not coloring so hard. The other thing you can do is get one of these little things. It will help you train your grip to loosen up a little bit, so you won't have what we call a death grip on your pencil. This is an excellent, not only will it save you some calluses on your fingers, because that's, I used these in high school. I'm 52 years old. I used these in school when I was having to take notes and this and that and the other, because I actually took school seriously. So I did a lot of writing. We didn't have computers back then, you know. I think I had a typewriter that had a return carriage. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. But I had these, and they really do save your hands some stress. And if you're gonna put your hand down here, at least to start, because sometimes you have to maintain control over things. This will help loosen up your grip. I mean, you see the difference? And I'm still doing with the fingers, like, you know, before. I'm using this finger to push down and this finger to bring it back up, the bottom finger to bring it back up. It's such a quick motion. I don't know if you can tell, but you see by putting this thing on, you see how much lighter it is? So yeah, I need to increase the light, I think. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. There we go. Sorry about that. I needed to turn some light on. Okay. Anyway, my lights are controlled by my phone, and I'm using my phone right now to tape this, so I can't get to the app. Yes, my lights are controlled by an app on my phone. Isn't that amazing? I can dim them, change the colors. It's pretty cool. Anywho, again, I digress. Sorry. But anyway, you see the difference? I mean, even just putting this on helps you loosen your grip. Now, what you can do then, once you become used to coloring with this and then coloring with that, like that, you can then move this. Whoops, sorry. Hold on a second. There we go. I'm trying to keep making sure you guys see it. Sometimes I go out of frame. Take this little thing. You can get it at the dollar store, office supply store, Amazon, and just move it up. Just keep moving it up if you want, until you kind of, and you see the difference. See how much lighter it gets? Now, what you can also do is take this off. Oops, I keep banging that. So sorry, guys. Is to just start here and just work your way back up. All right? And once you get to about here, now, because sometimes you will need to go down here. If you're getting into tight spaces, you will need to use this. So it's really important to just remember what I was saying. And you can even apply this method to when you're doing, like, say, when you're doing skin. Sometimes, for me personally, little circles are sometimes better, not always. It depends on the part of your face, the face you're doing. But if you want to get a nice, real smooth blend, little circles are actually the best. Just kind of use the bottom finger to hold it, and the top finger to just... I'm basically pushing with the top finger. And I know it's such a light motion, I could basically move my finger, I suppose. And let's see if I can hold it back. No, I can't. I'm not really using this bottom finger. I wish you could see better. I'm trying. See? And the further back you go, the softer it's going to get. Now, when you're doing little circles, you can use both fingers. But I would not attempt to do that until you're at least halfway back on the pencil. Okay? Until you're at least halfway up the pencil. Otherwise, it's just going to be too heavy, and you're going to flatten out your tooth. And you won't get as much layers. See? You see the difference? How much lighter it's getting? Here, let me get in closer, because I really want you to see this. There we go. You see how much lighter it's getting? Now if you move it back here, watch this. Now you don't get a sharper control, but look how freaking light that is. Now I'm gonna move this back out so that you can hopefully see how I'm holding the pencil. Okay, you see how far back I'm holding the pencil? It's way back here. Okay. My hand's going to kind of go out of the frame because I want you to see what I'm doing here. Now, if you do this like that, do you see that? How you could still see a fair amount of the tooth. You could layer. I'll take another pencil and you can tell when the tooth is full, by the way. Just a little tip here. Take your finger and just gently, because you don't want to rub too hard or you'll smear you'll actually blend the pencil, you know. So what you need to do is just lightly, ever so lightly, feel the paper. And you can tell, because of, especially on a wax pencil or even an oil pencil, you'll feel a certain residue. And the more the tooth gets full, the more residue you're going to feel. And you'll learn after a while when it feels like it's getting full. And you can also tell, because then you'll start to see wax blooms and stuff like that. But in the beginning, before all that happens, just gently like that, and you can just kind of feel how, and you can also hear it too. When it starts to get full, the scratchy sound that you may or may not be hearing, that scratchy sound will change. It will, the sound of it will change. But you see how much I'm able to get in before the tooth gets full? And I can switch this and be holding it like this. And I know it's hard at first, trust me. It is so hard. But you see how much I'm able to squeeze. And this is, like I said, 110 cardstock. Like generic Walmart brand or something. It's like $6. Honestly, for like markers and for stuff, mixed media to a certain extent, but I wouldn't say heavy amount of water, but it can take some. But this image right here is actually my colored pencil paper from Strathmore. Very nice paper. But anyway, that's about 4 layers right there. And it's just now starting to get kind of full. Yeah, and you can tell by feeling it. Because I changed how I held the pencil. So if, you know, if you really can't, if you're really super heavy-handed, get one of these. And I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna change my pencil here, and I'll color a bit of this, this jacket. Let's see, pick out a color. All right, this will work. All right, so this is, let me get my little glasses. Non-photo blue. Nice color. And now I'm going to use it with this so you can see. And I'm going to try to dial this in a little bit for you. So you may not be able to see my hand right off, but I want you to see how it looks on the paper. Let's see. No, hold on. There we go. That should work. So that I'm holding it down here, but because I'm using this doodad thing, I don't know what it's called exactly. I forget, to be honest. Like I said, I had them in school. That's how long they've been around. And use the method that I said about pushing and with one and just using the other as a placeholder. I'm basically just pushing with the top finger and going down in one direction. And this time I'm going with the direction of the shirt. And you can do tiny little strokes. And I am not going 2 directions in terms of the layering down of the pencil pigment, it's only going one direction. So if you can tell, you still can see the tooth of the paper. Okay. So make sure I'm still in focus. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good. And I'm just pushing lightly with, whoops, I pushed a little too hard there, with the top finger. But you can tell because you'll see a little less white. But the bottom one is just a placeholder. It's not really doing anything other than just resting on the pencil. It's not pushing the pencil down. Now it sort of does push the pencil back up to your starting position if you like say I'm pushing with this finger and then pushing it back up to where I started. That's about the only thing it does. Now if I'm changing directions, I'm going to flip that and use the bottom one as my pusher and the top one as my placeholder, and the one that pushes it back down to its starting position. So let's see, let me get my brain rephrased here. Okay, there we go. And actually, to better demonstrate it, I can actually move this finger out of the way. The bottom one I couldn't. But imagine doing this in reverse when I'm going down the other way. Just imagine this, and I'm going this way. It really doesn't even do anything. See? I mean, I wish I could move this more out of the way. I really can't. But you see how light the strokes are? Yeah. Now, if I wanted to do circles, which are really nice, if you want a nice, real smooth blend, circles are the best. Let's see, what can I do? Circles. Yeah, I did circles on this one. Trying to think of how I could show it to you on. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm gonna. Let's see. All right, there you can see. And you can't see my hand. Okay. Dang it. There we go. I know you can't see this part, but I want you to see my hand. It's kind of more important for you to see what my hand is doing at the moment. Okay. So since I'm going up, I can use this bottom finger as the pusher, basically. And eventually you won't need to do this, but and you can pull this back up if you want to. This thing, you can pull it back up if you need to. And they're very inexpensive. You see how light that is? I mean, I don't know if you can or not, but that's, and let's see. Okay, circles. Now, circles you leave all the fingers on, but you hold the pencil at least 3/4 of the way back. At least to half, where I have this thing. No closer than this. And this, when you're first learning to do circles, light circles, this is an excellent trainer. You see that? See how that blends that? And it doesn't like totally smash up the tooth. So that is basically how I color lightly. So I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please give me a like and a thumbs up and subscribe. I really appreciate your time. Please have a blessed one, and I will see you next time.